Welcome everyone, my name is Alex and I'm going to be your MC for the rest of this afternoon. And I want to introduce someone that I think is very special, is someone that has an incredible track record and has this, I would say, living history of our technology industry. It's someone that has co-founded 6 companies with mates from MIT. 5 of them have gone very well. Several IPOs, one of them crashed, as it normally happens. One of them, probably you guys know about it. If I say 3Com, everyone has heard about 3Com? Raise your hand. You've heard about 3Com? There we go. Those are the nerds.
They're too young.
Those are the nerds. He's been coming to Spain for many, many years, and he's been working for startups for the last 20 years, and basically helping all these companies grow and go global, which is one of his handiwork. And apart from that, he explicitly told me, he said, I'm not retiring, my wife is not retiring, we're going to keep helping startups, and specifically, we're going to keep helping startups in the Spanish ecosystem. So please thank me and thank him. Big applause for the chairman and CEO of the Entrepreneurship Ventures, Ken Morse.
Thank you. Now, tell the guys in the back that entrepreneurship is not a spectator sport. Okay, so come on forward. Okay, we're not going to start. All the guys in the back come up. There's a lot of empty seats.
You know what we're going to do?
Because they reserve for big companies. Big companies have no clue.
That's right. So I want to see everyone breaking the rules.
Come on.
Sitting on the front rows. Screw the reserve seats.
Yeah.
Ken, the floor is yours. Enjoy, guys. Have fun.
Which part of the floor? Okay, so come on. Vale, come on. So he said that I started 6 companies. True. He said that 5 of them were successful, and 1 was a complete disaster. Okay? So what's your definition? Manuel, what's your definition of a disaster? Okay? How about if I told you, no, come on. We went from 88 employees to 4 in one afternoon. Does that sound like a disaster?
It sounds like a disaster.
It sounds like a disaster, okay. So this particular startup, I just want to say, was in Kendall Square, next to MIT, and we had the most MIT professors involved with the company of any of my companies. We had the most MIT alumni as officers in the company, and the most MIT students working as slaves in the software development, okay? So it should be okay, but it was a disaster. Now we paid the kids, everybody under 30 got 2 weeks' salary, and those of us who were over 30, you over 30? Just last year, okay, yeah. So those of us who were over 30 got what was left. I got the furniture. Now what is a natural part of the entrepreneurial process? A natural part is failure, right? So it's easy to sit here and say it, but there's going to be failures, right? Got a lot of entrepreneurs, you got a lot of startups, you're going to have a lot of failures. So there is a vibrant, dynamic market in used furniture. Okay? So I didn't have any problem selling the furniture to another startup company. We bought it from a bankrupt startup company. So that's the benefit. That's all you need to know about the value of being in an ecosystem, right? There's other failures and cheap used furniture. Okay. Now, I'm only going to use half the slides. But the purpose of this discussion is to talk about what does it take to build not just a little bitty startup that grows to 6 or 8 people and then stalls out and lives on grants, but one that achieves sustainable global growth, okay? So that's what this is supposed to be about. So that's my theme. So and I think that you, as an entrepreneur, you have to have an outstanding team. Now, one of the best venture capitalists in Spain, there are many of them here, I'm looking around actually, but one of them, Inveretti, he will tell you he invests in teams, not in technology. He's very tech savvy, but he invests in teams. Is that unusual or is that normal? So somewhere out there, there's a YouTube of me saying that I teach people how to write business plans and I never read them. Okay? Why read it? Because it's going to change. It's an important exercise for the founders to go through it to see if the numbers fit. But basically, you don't read it. You look at a company if the men and women who are running it are rock star, workaholic maniacs, right? And they need to know something about selling, too. Okay, so ambition is key. But I think the money that you get to support your growth should work as hard for you as you work for your investors. So truly value-added investors are important. In the US, where all the money is green, they say that it's blue money. I don't know. I mean, I did this blue money slide in Germany, and I got in big trouble because it's like the 100-euro note. Which one is blue? I don't know. I never have big enough. I don't have any big ones. So, but I do think that this is a great time to be starting a company because people do know much more about failure in Spain than before. The crisis helps a lot, you know? There's a lot of really nice people that went splat on the windshield of life, okay? And once you've gone splat, it's easier to help somebody else who's in trouble. Don't you think, Laura?
Sorry?
Yes? Good. Good. So, Ignacio, was I correct? You invest in teams more than technology?
Absolutely. Teams
Okay.
number one.
That's a microphone?
Yeah.
Looks like a box of chocolates. Okay, so, but I do think that what also has happened, the whole game has gotten tougher, and a line of bull and a PowerPoint presentation is not enough to get funding. Which leads me to the first algorithm, Adriana. DAD is much greater than MBBB. Ignacio? What's that mean? Down and dirty beats McKinsey, Booz, Bain, and Boston. Okay, good. All right, so you got to really have grit under your fingers if you're going to be an entrepreneur today. So you got to have an A team, Jose, right? You have ABBV, okay? That's an A team. You charge more for their product than anybody else in the room. Way to go. Keep it up, man. Don't lower those prices just because the US Senate doesn't like it, okay? And if you have an A team, one of the key things you have to have in the team is selling skills. We interviewed hundreds, literally hundreds, of CEOs across Europe. Most of them are engineers. And they say, you know what? Sales is harder than technology. And that's why John Adams is here. Stand up, John, right? He is a workaholic sales animal, okay? Now, some of you guys may have great technology, but if you can't sell it, you're going down, okay? You better have some salespeople. But I would say that the CEO actually is the top sales guy in the company. Okay, so what's the sales process? You have to stalk the customers because you're never going to be able to meet them in their office. They don't want to see some young company, right? You never get past the secretary. You're going to have to find the guys. And by the way, this is a high target-rich environment. There's a lot of potential customers here. You should be working that hamburger stand, okay? Estella, Galicia Estella, right? They have the burgers, and there's got the entrepreneurs there too, and the big companies, right? So you stalk them and you pitch to them. How long is the pitch? Senora, how long do you have to pitch a big guy?
Some minutes.
Marcus, come on, you know the answer.
How long
do you meet Senora? Oh, there's Senora Grande. She's the CEO of a company that you want to sell to. Yeah. You go across the room. It's a cocktail party, but they're having cava, foie, right? Mm-hmm. How much time do you have with Senora Grande before somebody else is going to come and interrupt you?
Until he buys.
Huh?
Until he buys.
Yeah?
Whatever it takes.
Yeah. You're good, but you're not that good, Marcos. You can't sell your product in 1 minute. But you have to be short and to the point. So this is completely against the Spanish culture. So that's one of the... You have to pitch, and the purpose of the pitch is to get the meeting. And the purpose of the meeting, which might be 15 minutes, is not to sell, but to get them to commit, to evaluate whether your solution will work for them. And that evaluation is a kind of a commitment, okay? And the purpose of the evaluation. John Adams, what's the purpose of the evaluation? Yep, a long-term contract which probably will have a pilot phase and a rollout phase. Exactly. But all the time you're doing this, scratching around for business, you have your eye on the prize, which is total global domination of your chosen market niche. Right? Right? Anything less than that is, I don't know, it's like kissing your sister. It's easy to do, but not very interesting, right? You want to have a total approach. So I think I mentioned everything I want to say about business plans. The only thing I read is the first page. If you don't name your first 10 customers on the first page of your business plan, it is a superb application of the delete button. Why spend storage on a business plan that isn't customer-centric? Page 1. And Carlos, it says you're a media, right? Okay? You write this down. You tell your readers, okay, that it can't just be, we're going to sell to these guys. It's got to be the name of the person, his or her email address and mobile number, and why they're going to buy, and they told you, if you can build it, we will buy it. That's market research. Anything else doesn't work, at least not for me, okay? And I do think that you need to plan to build your company without any outside money. I can't tell you the number of entrepreneurs who say, oh, we just need to raise the money. Well, forget getting the money till you have customers. And forget getting the customers until you know how to sell, I would say. Yes? Yeah. Thank you, Marcos. Good. I gotta go through here fast because I can't tell you what Obama's doing about this, okay? And so, but I do think that entrepreneurs are a special kind of species. But the number one thing in an entrepreneur is integrity, because they do not have time to do contracts. You have to know that your handshake is all you need. Without it, nothing else matters. And I do think that leadership, now they say that it's actually ramen leadership, right? How do you lead the company when nobody is eating anything except noodles? And I think that's probably true. You have to have a quick clock speed and a bias towards action. So if you're one of these people in a large company who really enjoys going to meetings, I'm not sure that entrepreneurship is for you, okay? But the guy in the meeting who after 45 minutes gets up and says, I'm going to go call a customer, now that guy is interesting. Right, Manuel? You don't ever have meetings more than 45 minutes in the innovation group, do you? And they're stand-up meetings at that, right? Yeah, no, don't sit down, don't get comfortable. Who says, where is it written in your job description that you're supposed to be comfortable? I don't think so. It's not there. Okay. And you have to be able to recruit top talent. Now, some people say, oh, entrepreneurs, I can just tell when I see them. But I would say that there's an MIT equation. Anybody study chemistry here? The pH of an entrepreneur's stomach is 2 standard deviations from the mean. Okay? That's what it says there. So they're tough. Now, I do think, let's talk about Spain. I'm supposed to talk about Spain. And on the other hand, I have to be able to, go to the airport and be able to get out, right? So I can't say everything that's on my mind. But I can say to you that to build an entrepreneurial ecosystem in Spain, we need the help of the large companies. It isn't going to happen unless Spanish entrepreneurs can sell to large Spanish companies. It's just not going to happen. So the role of large companies is important, and there are some large companies here both as sponsors and also as engaged partners. And I believe that the climate for large companies doing business with entrepreneurs has improved steadily every year for the last 10 years. Would you say, Manuel? And maybe it has a long way to go, but it's much better than it used to be. Now, when a small company with a balance sheet, which is, asymptotic to negative infinity, and no cash flow and all that, they don't get thrown out right away. And you were telling me at lunch also that there's a new guideline that says that governments should at least consider doing business with companies that don't have a 3-year trading history. And I think you do have to have access to global networks and global markets. Do you have a clock? I got to make sure I don't run over time. Okay. What time is it? 45? 3:45. Yeah, good. Okay, well, I'm not dead yet. Okay. So I want to go to some examples of Spanish companies that are making it, okay? And what would be the common themes, would you say? Mehdi, what would be some common themes? No, of the entrepreneurs. What are they like? What are some, are they workaholic maniacs? If they're not workaholic, there's no way, okay? And they say, I don't mind because I'm independent now, right? I work 24 hours a day, but I get to choose which 24, okay? And I think the second thing is that governments and universities have a role to play in supporting it. But let's take a look at the biggest startup hubs this year. According to some reasonable source, both Madrid and Barcelona, Spain is the only country that has 2 impressive startup hubs. That's not bad. I don't know what this would have been 10 years ago, but I don't think we would have been in the money. So you've got both Barcelona and Madrid. And then the thing that the venture capital, you'll be surprised to know that venture capitalists are not charitable, granola, tree hugger, save the whale type people, okay? You'd be surprised. They actually want to make money. They want a big IRR. They want to show off to their limited partners so that they can get them again. And so look at the return that Barcelona is generating compared to London. What do you think of that? Manuel? You didn't know that. You came all the way from downtown Madrid to find that out? Okay, thank you for making the trip. Okay? What does this tell you? They're doing something right over there. Okay? And Madrid's on the list too. Not, ahead of Moscow. That's good. So I want to talk about 6 different companies that have built global businesses, one of them with Ignacio's help. But let's talk about Increnta. They were already in business when the general new concept of using social media to drive potential customers to your site, so-called inbound marketing, when that revolution was started. And that revolution was started by a number of forces, and it was captured and capitalized upon by HubSpot in Boston, an MIT spin-off company. So Increnta is the largest distributor for HubSpot in Europe and the largest distributor for HubSpot in Latin America, because they believe the growth markets are in LATAM. Last I heard, there's not a lot of growth in Spain. So they're going after LATAM pretty well. And Jose Vicente Ponce is here. He's on their board of advisors. Forest Chemical is another. Forest Chemical Group, I'm sorry. I think it's probably important that Increnta is based in Valencia. And their offices, they have an office in Madrid, Bogota, Chile, Mexico City, and Bilbao. Okay, so that's where the growing markets are. Forest Chemical, headquartered in Alicante, founded in Alicante, selling to the packaging industry, growing like a weed, $3.5 million revenue, gross margins, and they've just added an important round of funding, replacing La Caixa and bringing in family offices. Many of the family offices are also customers. Remember I said you want the money to work for you? Here's money where they're also customers. Very good. Health consult. Now, Carles, are you here? He was on a plane last night from Boston to Madrid, but anything can happen. But anyway, if Carles, you'll see him around. Sooner or later, he'll get here. So what he's done is he started the company in Barcelona. He's working with hospitals in Barcelona. He's outsourced some of his medical development to Valencia, and his business headquarters is in Kendall Square, next to all of the hospitals in leading hospitals in the U.S. Same with Ellie de los Pinos. She was at Lilly, found a new way of treating targeted therapies for cancer, wanted to start her own company. She's Catalan. She felt that the best place to do it was to move from Spain and be in Kendall Square next to all of the other cancer therapy companies, both customers and competitors, because you want to be in a cluster that's industry-specific cluster of customers and competitors. So Ellie just completed another massive round of funding. She's on the 1-yard line with the FDA approvals, and Henry Termeer, founder of Genzyme, is on her board and has $5 million of his own money in the company. I think he helps her quite a bit, both spiritually and also picking up the phone and getting access. Okay, Damia founded the company in Valencia, again, went to Kendall, doing some important work in Barcelona as well. Okay, Indices, which is the last example, because Mercedes will have a heart attack if I don't finish in 45 seconds, was founded in Sevilla. They originally had money from Invercaria, which is the government funding arm for Andalusia, under the leadership of her advisors. We invited Ignacio to lunch and said, hey, Ignacio, how would you like to replace Invercaria and provide your leadership and wisdom to this ambitious tech entrepreneur? He said yes. All VCs don't decide very quickly because they always want to see another card played. But anyway, you weren't so bad. You were great, actually, fantastic. And then he and I were on the board for a while. We got Intel Capital into the company and ultimately sold the company to Intel. It's an operating division of Intel, and Pilar commutes between Santa Clara and Sevilla. Were more jobs created in Spain because of it? Absolutely. And it was also Intel's first investment in Spain. 140 countries they had invested in before they invested in Spain, but we got them over that. Okay, good. So what's the common theme? They're workaholics, they love jet fuel, they know why God made it, and they use it. Okay? They're constantly customer-focused. The development teams are all in Spain. The business headquarters is where the customers are, which isn't usually in Spain. Sometimes it is, but not always. And they want to build a company that achieves global domination of their chosen market niche. And each one of them is doing it. And if you applaud now, you're not applauding for me. You're applauding for them. I admire them so much. They really know how to do it. And they don't ever take no for an answer. No is an invitation to negotiate, right, Manuel? And they're great kids, all of them. Thank you very much.